Hello, I'm Brother Tom with 5 more of the favorite jokes I've heard through the years. Back in the 1800s, there was a Quaker who had a mule that sometimes was pretty cantankerous. He really tried the patience of this man of God. One day they were out in the field plowing, and the mule just decided he wasn't going to plow anymore. So the Quaker really and truly got perturbed, and he walked up to him and he said, "Now look, thou knowest that as a Quaker I am a man of God, and as a man of God I shall not smite thee, nor shall I curse thee, nor shall I refrain from feeding thee thine oats. But what thou knowest not, mule, if thou dost not plow my field, I shall trade thee to a Baptist." Back around that same time in the 1800s, there was a Baptist minister that got married. He and his wife came out of the church. He helped his wife get up into the little wagon. Everyone was throwing rice and wishing them well. He climbed up and, well, the horse wouldn't go. And apparently the preacher had problems with his horse before. So he climbed down and he reached in the back of the wagon and he got a tree limb about the size of a baseball bat, walked up to the head of the horse and said, "All right, this is one." Wham! Right over the head. Well, he climbed back up into the wagon and let's go. Well, the horse started going. Well, they went a little ways down the road and a grass snake was crossing the road. And the horse was terrified of the grass snake. And even after the grass snake had gone on into the field, the horse refused to go. Well, the preacher lost his temper again, climbed down, got that tree limb and said, "All right, horse, this is 2. Wham! Right over the head. Climbed back up in the wagon. Let's go." Well, they went for about a half a mile, and the road dipped down, and there was a little creek not more than 2 inches deep that came across the road. And the horse refused to get his feet wet. And the preacher absolutely lost his temper this time. He climbed down, he walked up to the head of that horse, and he pulled out his pistol. And he said, "All right, horse, this is 3. Kaboom! Shot him in the head, and the horse dropped dead. His poor little wife, she stood up. She said, I am so humiliated. I cannot believe what I have just seen. I thought I was marrying a man of God, a man of compassion, a man who had respect. And here you've shot our horse, our only horse. You shot our horse. I can't believe what I've gotten myself into. You embarrassed me so much back there at the church when you hit the horse over the head with the limb. And I don't know what I'm going to do. We're married. And then I think I made a big mistake." He looked at her and said, "Woman, that's 1. Well, a preacher and a bus driver arrived at heaven at the same time. St. Peter was waiting there for them, and he said, "Fellas, welcome to heaven. Hop on the back of the golf cart. I'm going to take you to your mansions." So as they rode along on the streets of gold in the back of this golf cart, St. Peter stopped in front of this lovely, lovely mansion. It was larger than the White House in Washington, D.C. And St. Peter turned to the bus driver and he said, "Bus driver, this is your mansion to enjoy for all of eternity." And that bus driver was going, "Oh my, thank you, Jesus, thank you, Jesus." And he was skipping and dancing and jumping all the way up that golden sidewalk to the front porch of his mansion. Well, the preacher looked at that mansion and he thought, now, if that's what the bus driver got, I wonder what my mansion's going to look like. Well, as they rode down the streets of gold, the houses got smaller and smaller and smaller. And finally, St. Peter stopped in front of a mansion that was much, much smaller than what the bus driver got. And St. Peter said to the preacher, "All right, brother, here is your mansion. Enjoy it for all of eternity." And the preacher said, "Well, St. Peter, I don't mean to be complaining, but he said the bus driver's mansion is so much larger than mine, and you know, I was just wondering, can you tell me why he has such a large mansion, and in comparison, mine is so small? And St. Peter said, well, of course I can tell you what the problem was. He says, preacher, every time you preached, your preaching put the people to sleep. And he said, every time the bus driver drove, his driving made the people pray. A member of the church called her pastor, said, I am going crazy. I'm about to pull my hair out. I'm going to scream. I'm going to have a psychological nervous breakdown. I've got to talk to someone. My 5-year-old son is absolutely driving me crazy. Would you please come over to my house before I take a pistol and shoot him or shoot myself? The pastor said, I'll be right over. So the pastor went over to the house and was sitting down in the living room, and she was explaining to him how terrible her 5-year-old son was, who was outside playing. And he didn't know the preacher was there. But about that time, the little boy comes in the house. He opens the door and slams it up against the wall, almost knocking it off of his hinges. He comes running in holding this mouse by the tail. He said, Mommy, look at my mouse, look at my mouse. He said, I rolled over him with my tricycle 6 times. And I took my basketball and I bounced it on him 12 times. And then I took my baseball bat and I clobbered him 17 times. And then the little boy happened to notice that the pastor was sitting over there. And the little boy went, and then the Lord called him home. The last one for now is a man was at a cemetery. He was standing over a grave and he was saying, why did you die? Why did you die? Another man walked up to him and said, what's wrong? What's wrong? Did your mother die? No, it's not my mother. Why did you die? He said, did your father die? No, it wasn't my father. Why? Why did you have to die? He says, well, what's wrong, man? Who was it that died? Oh, why did you die? He was my wife's first husband. That's all for now. May God bless you.